Hello and welcome. I'm presuming you are with me. And today we're going to be talking about the route to doubling your profits in a very specific way. We're going to be talking about the business growth roadmap. This is a system I've devised and put together with over 35 years of experience in working with businesses to help them grow their business, help them grow their profits, and of course, the ultimate aim is to help them grow their personal wealth, because typically that's what they want to do. They want to provide a great lifestyle for themselves, for their family, maybe a better education for their kids, maybe better health care. It could be bigger houses, a faster car, boats, better holidays. Whatever it is for each individual, the business has, in my mind, the ultimate potential for producing the lifestyle you desire. There is probably, well, certainly in my experience and in my world, there is no better way of building the quality of life you desire, the wealth you desire, the freedom of time and money you desire, than through an owner-managed business. Whether that's an internet business, whether that's a service business, whether that's a manufacturing business, whatever it is, a commission business even, or even a contracting business. There is probably no better way than an owner-managed business in which to increase your personal wealth. At Success Story Builder, we have the principal aim of helping you create your success story. Now, it's a bit strange. I'm here in a room talking to my computer, and you're in wherever you are listening to your computer. It's a bit strange. So we're going to look to keep this interactive. You need some notes, and get some paper and pencil. If you've printed out the booklet I sent you a couple of days ago and maybe again this morning, then you're going to have a place to put your notes on the things we're going to be discussing, and that's all going to be very useful for you, because writing things down will really help it go in, and ultimately that's the purpose. The purpose is not just to sit here and listen to me. The purpose is to take away some information which you will apply. The application, as you will find out about me, is all important. So a little bit about me very briefly. Besides being a multi-award winning chartered accountant, running a very, very successful firm of chartered accountants, being voted one of the UK's best accountancy practices in 2011. From 2011 to 2016, we've been in the shortlist of all winners of accountancy awards throughout. I've personally written a book called Profit Propeller, which was on the Amazon bestseller list. It's on Kindle, and at the moment, because of this presentation, I've reduced it to 99p or 99 cents. I think it's 99p, and it's available for now. It will be going up to its normal price in the next week. So if you need to get it, go to our site and you'll find a link to it straight away. I've also written other books on Sell More, Make More, and understanding the key financial principles of your business, because all of these things are important. You cannot run a business without understanding the language of business, and the language of business, whether we like it or not, is figures, numbers. And one of my clients a couple of months ago called me the number whisperer, because I seem to be able to look at a page of numbers and very quickly understand the story the numbers are telling me, where we need to put focus on, where we need to repair, where we need to do more because it's working really well. It is just a skill I've developed over 35, 40 years of being in the numbers game, in the accountancy profession, working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of businesses. And remember, I see businesses from startups through to mature businesses, through to businesses that are failing and about to go out of business. We have ability to save some businesses. Some businesses are better buried and started again, and our business and most businesses have the potential to do extraordinarily well if you run it as a business. So let's get into it a bit more. Let's talk about what to expect from this presentation. The first thing you want to understand is I do talk quite quickly. I am absolutely passionate about the subject of business and profitability and creating a life that you want rather than a life that your business delivers to you. And so it is one of the key things that I think should be taken into account and relevant to you. I'm also pretty tough. People hire me not because I'm nice to them. They've got hundreds of people around them who are nice to them. Their family, their bank manager, their kids may be nice to them. You're here because you want to hear the truth. And if I can tell you that you could do better and how you could do better, then I presume that's why you're going to listen to me and work with me. You've got enough people to be nice to you. You're here for me for the hard truth. And I'll tell you the hard truth, whether I think you're going to like it or not. Sometimes you will like it, sometimes you won't like it, but you will know that I have your best interest at heart. And so when you understand that, then you know that we're in the right place. So the next thing I want you to do is open up, because if I just talk to you and you go, well, I knew that, and I'm not suggesting my concepts are completely new. However, knowing is not the same as applying, because unlike most mentors and coaches and consultants out there, I am actually using all of these techniques, all of these principles on a day-to-day basis in my award-winning businesses, in my profitable businesses. So I know I'm at the coalface doing this stuff, learning it, finding out what works, throwing out what doesn't. And so I know these things work. And if I know they work and you say you've tried them, it's maybe because something in the mix. It's a bit like, if you get the ingredients for a cake, just by having the ingredients, you couldn't make a cake. Okay, unless you already knew how to make a cake before. You need to know the order of play. You need to know how to mix it, when the ingredients go in, how hot the oven has to be, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm going to ask you to open up a little space now to let some of these ideas in and go think, what if this could work for me? What would it be worth to me? How would it change my life? How would it change my business? How would it make it easier for me to achieve what I want to achieve? And throughout this, I'm going to be scattering pieces of my Profit Multiplier program that we run with businesses. I'll talk more about it a bit later. It is a specific set of steps and principles that help owner-managed businesses take the business from here to there. Right? It is using proven methodology, but breaking it down into simple steps, because everyone is too busy to be just chucked in the deep end and just going, well, fix your business. Of course you want to fix your business, but if you could have done that, you wouldn't be here now. If it was hugely successful, why would you listen to this, right? You'll listen to this because something may be missing, and you don't need 4,000 things to do to make it work. You want to do 1, 2, or 3 things a week, and you'll hear more about my 3x3x3 formulas. That I love 3s because they're nice and simple. It's not too few, not too many. And when you apply the principle, it works amazingly well. And at the end of this, so I'm going to be talking fast. I'm going to be giving you new ideas. I'm going to be challenging. But at the end of that, I'm going to offer you help if you want it. If you don't want it, that's absolutely fine. If you want it, I'm going to be offering you a way to go to get help to get this thing done, to apply it in your business. Hopefully that's good for you. If that's okay, just put a yes in the box or in the chat box. If you've got one, if you're listening to a recording and you haven't got a chat box, then I apologize, but you can mentally just make a note if that's okay. And you'll see we want 3 gets. We want to get yourself a pencil and paper, 3x3x3. We want to get all your phones and internets and Facebooks and stuff all turned off. Anything that whirs, buzzes, dings, just turn it off, and get yourself the space and the quality of mind that you would normally give to your clients. You give them 100% attention when you're in front of them. What I would like for you to do now is just get into that state. What if you were going to learn something? You may or may not, but what if you were going to learn something that could help you double your profits? What would that mean to you? And if it's good, if it would mean something good for you, that you'd have more time off, better holidays, bigger cars, better houses, better education for your kids, and so on and so on and so on, then get yourself ready to learn, because and maybe apply, right? Because there's going to be lots of stuff coming at you. I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to give you everything I've got in the next 45 minutes or so. We'll have some time for Q&A if there is any. What I critically want you to do is make sure you get ready. But I can't give you, understand that while I give you everything I can in the 45 minutes, I can't give you everything I know in 45 minutes. I can't change your life in 45 minutes, but I can change how you think about what you're going to do next in the 45 minutes. And that is a gift that you will then have to do something about. Okay, if you choose to do nothing about it, that's completely up to you. 90%, maybe 80% of people typically take no action. All right, and that is just life. You know it, and I know it. We see it all the time with our team members. We see it with people we know in our families. We see it in our friends. They just don't do enough new things to make a difference. They want a better life, but they don't do enough new things to get there. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, and we're going to come to this pyramid in a second. We'll talk about that model in a second. But the first thing I want you to do is just get two numbers in your head. The first number is what your income was last year and in the last 12 months. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this. It's just, it's 12 months, right? And what you would like your income to be in the next 12 months, okay? So they're just two numbers. And if you're on this, and there should be a gap between those two numbers. So if your income last year was 100,000 and you want it to be 150,000, that gap is 50,000 pounds. If your income last year was 50,000 pounds and you want it to be 75,000 pounds, that gap is 25. It doesn't matter what it is, but we need to understand what that gap is, because what I critically want you to understand and know is the reason you are here listening to this is because you want to get to that second number. You want to fill that gap. Okay, hopefully that makes some sense. So let me ask you this. So what triggered you to come to this workshop? What triggered you to listen to this recording if you're on the recording? And just make a note somewhere, write it down. Why are you here? If you're on the chat box, just type it in for me, and we'll move forward in a couple of minutes when you've had a chance to write it down. Okay? So some people are saying we want to increase profits. Some people are saying, somebody's saying fed up of just not getting anywhere. Somebody's saying I'm just struggling at the moment. Somebody else, profits are rubbish. Okay, good. Look, one of my mentors says all progress starts with the truth. And if you're here admitting that your results are rubbish, then you've got to do something, right? Well done. So the problem here is that businesses are just not growing. Please don't let you think that I have no idea that businesses are or not growing. You will remember that I run an award-winning accountancy firm. That means I see accounts day in and day out from businesses who, when they started their business, they aspired to amazing things. They wanted a better life. They wanted a better quality of income. They wanted to afford all these lovely things. And for most of them, it's just not happening. Business is just not growing. That is, 90% of the numbers that come through my business are businesses who are not growing, okay? That is just how it is. We help them. We look to help them. The Profit Multiplier program is specifically about helping you if you're in that position. But that's what I'm finding, right? Profits and cash flow are weak. Sometimes it's so weak that one problem, like one bad debt, can throw the whole business into chaos and maybe even failure, okay? So we're on some businesses, if they're just living from what they can take out of the business, and that's it. They're spending it all. There's no extras. There's no, as I would call it, no fat in the pie there, because if anything gets short, there is going to be a problem with the family's finances and stuff, and that is really a bad place to be. We had one client a couple of years ago now, 2 years ago, where they had the Olympics came on in 2012 in London, and because of the Olympics, everyone was really enjoying it, and for like 6 or 8 weeks, there was just no business, and they couldn't meet their salary bill. As a result, they couldn't meet their tax bill, and the business failed. Okay, 6 years, 7 years of building that business up suddenly disappeared like that. And that is, I don't want that to happen. And many of the businesses, they're just, and you may be part of it, I know I used to be, time stretched and overwhelmed. There's so many things to do. As a business owner, you've got to do marketing and technical and IT and sales and promotions and delivery and staff management and hiring and firing, and it takes a whole load of time, and there's so many things to do that we tend to be overwhelmed. And what this is about is not about adding more things to do. If anything, it's about doing less. And the program is all about achieving more money than with less time. Okay, because if it was just working harder, you'd do that already, right? Working harder is, as you probably appreciate, is not an option for most people. They've got their day full, they've got their weeks full, they've got their year full. What they need now is a methodology to earn more with less time, so they can start enjoying owning a business once again. And of course, it's not what you signed up for. You didn't sign up for all this hassle and grief and problem solving and complaints and team handling. And you wanted to have an easier life. You wanted to have more money, and you don't want to just keep putting money in, and it feels like flushing it down the toilet, right? So the benefits of getting it right, of course, is that you end up with a growing business. Now, when I talk to many clients, when I talk to them about what it would be like to have a growing business, they light up, they smile again, but at the same time, somehow there's this doubt inside of whether it's possible. But if you get it right, you end up with a growing business, and that's the pleasure I've had over the years. I'm a very successful business owner. I have complete time and money freedom, which means I can do anything I like for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and my lifestyle will not be affected by a job. I could do nothing for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and my lifestyle would not be affected a jot. Okay, I do this because I love it. I see businesses struggling, and I want to help them grow and achieve the success that I have. The business has a promise, but if you don't do the right things, then it's going to be a problem. They want higher profits, and of course, they want easier cash flow. They don't want to be struggling from month to month, who to pay and when to pay. I haven't had to worry about cash flow for the last 30 years. Now that is quite stunning, isn't it? Because 30 years of not having to worry whether I can pay John or pay X Limited or or my wages, or it doesn't make any difference to me. Everything gets paid on time, and that in itself saves me a huge amount of time. I don't have to think about who to pay. I don't have to fend them off. Because that is a fair deal. They work well for me. They do a great service for me, and I pay them on time. They love it. And they also, of course, want to feel in control. Too many businesses control their owners rather than their owners controlling their business. And often, if the owner stops work, the business stops work. Right? That is not a business. That is a job, and it is the worst job in the world, because you have the toughest employer you could ever have, which is you, right? You work for yourself. So you tend to work 6, 5, 7 days a week. You may be working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You may be doing your accounting and bookkeeping on weekends. You may be answering emails in the evening. All of these things are sucking the lifeblood out of you. You can't do anymore. Right? You want to feel in control of your business. You want to control your business. You don't want your business to control you. And so you want to enjoy your business with choices, right? I'm sure that that's true. And when you enjoy your business with choices, then you know that you have the choice of going to work or not going to work, like as I was explaining before, right? You can decide where to go and when to go and how long to go for. We went, for example, to Australia for 7 weeks, a couple of, I think it was about 18 months ago. We went to the whole Singapore and the Far East. Again, that was a long trip. We went to Hawaii for 3 weeks. We have these opportunities, and because we don't have to worry about anything, we enjoy our holidays more. We don't have to spend the first 3 days trying to recover from just spending the last 2 weeks trying to do so much work that you can go on holiday, and then coming back and knowing that you got another 2 weeks of work built up that you've got to do when you come back. That is not a holiday. That is just stress in the making, and you're paying for it. So why is this important to you? So we've talked about, getting it wrong and getting it right. So why are these things important to you? Just spend a moment or two thinking about what we just covered, and make a note on a piece of paper on your notepad that I've given you, and tell me why it's important to you. Very good. Somebody's putting in the chat box that you want to see your business do well because it'll give you a better quality of life. Okay, that's in essence exactly right. Yeah, we don't have a business necessarily just for the sake of having a business. Most people don't. Most have a business to work. To work so that they can take the money out of it and enjoy life. That's really why most people started the business. Certainly it's why I started the business 35, 40 years ago. And haven't looked back since. Like I said, my belief and why I'm a successor at what I do with other clients is because I believe there is no better way of increasing a person's wealth than through an owner-managed business. So let's give you 3 hot tips that will help you move forward. The first thing is you need to know where you are. And knowing where you are is really easy because you need to know, how much money you earn, whether you're at a startup phase, and so on. We'll talk about that in the growth roadmap. Okay, knowing where you are is really key because if you don't know where, in any map that you get, if you do any survival training, and I haven't, but a map is no good unless you know where you are. If you know where you are, and you know where you want to go, the map will help you get there. But if you don't know where you are, you've just plonked in the middle of the place, and they tell you want to go, we want you to get you somewhere, and there are no road signs and things to help you. Virtually no chance, right? Virtually no chance. If you can then read the terrain and you can read maybe the contours in the map, if you've got one of these ordnance survey maps, you've got a fighting chance. But otherwise, you're no good, right? And we've identified these layers to growing the businesses. And the numbers, don't focus on the numbers too much because we have got people who are in the self-employed mode who earn £150,000 and even £250,000. And we've got people in the £50,000 mode who are proper investors. So let me give you some of the things. So like in a startup, we'll talk more about how these break up, but the numbers are, to me, 4 to 5% earn over £250,000 in most countries, right? In Western countries. Now, being in the 4 or 1%, I know it is possible, and I've seen other businesses I work with do that. So I know it's possible, but I also know that most people are in the £90,000 and below level because, as I said, I do their numbers. I know their numbers. And so 80% are just about comfortable with £90,000. 20% are struggling. The other startups on the way to getting there, or they're just struggling to get past the £50,000, and that impacts on their stress levels and quality of life. But when you start getting higher up, the air gets thinner, right? There's 15% earn £150,000, 4% earn £250,000, and 1% earns above that, right? So where are you placed, right? You need to know, because you need to know where you are and where you want to go, okay? And if you're happy where you are, if you've got a lifestyle business and this is just a hobby, then this is probably not the place for you to be. This presentation is not about that. So, and that, to that end, we believe that history has its uses. I'm not big on the past, right? I tend to learn the lessons of the past and move on. I don't dwell on the past, but it has its uses. We need to learn the lessons because you've paid for them, right? You've made the mistakes of the past, which means that you've missed the opportunity. So if you could have made £20,000 more profit or £100,000 more profit, and you didn't because you didn't follow the control of your business properly, didn't follow the business mechanics properly, if you didn't understand your profit map, then you are going to you've lost money. The opportunity cost is what you've paid for them. You've either paid the £20,000 or £100,000, depending on what we're talking about, right? So you've paid for it. So why not? And if you pay for a car for £100,000, surely you want to take ownership of it. You don't want to just pay it and then give it away and then buy another £100,000 car because you can't find it. You want to use that knowledge. You want to use that car, right? You paid for the asset. If you don't learn from it and burn it into your psyche, if you like, you're going to repeat them. And the number of businesses I will see in the bottom 60, 20% we talked about on the pyramid just now, a growth model, repeat the same things again and again. Each year is a photocopy of the year before. They do the same things, but they hope for a better year. And I don't understand how they expect that to happen, because there is nothing that can make that happen. And of course, habits die hard. In fact, one of my mentors uses the Die Hard movies. I don't know if you've ever watched them. I quite like them actually. And he basically says habits don't die. Bruce Willis never dies in that. So habits don't die, right? So, and if they do, they die hard. So you need some sort of catalyst. You need some methodology to get past the old habits. And the Profit Multiplier program is exactly a good part of that is about changing habits by getting you momentum, okay? And the second part of this is, you need to know where you want to go, right? Because if you don't know where you need to go, how do you get there? And I don't mean, do a long 50-page business plan. Pointless. No one looks at them. I probably can count on when I do presentations to people of 150, 200 people, and I say, who looks at a business plan every day? Typically one or two hands go up. And even then, I suspect they're talking about a cursory glance, unless they've got one of the business plans on a page or a page of planning. And listen to me on this. It's not about positive thinking either, right? So thinking positive, it has a bearing on how well you'll do. I mean, if you're a negative thinker and think nothing's going to work for you and it's no point trying anymore, it's no point trying anything different, then of course you're absolutely right, nothing will work for you. But just going, next year is going to be better, is just as useless, because unless you do something to make next year better, it will be no better. So positive thinking, benefit, but tiny benefit, right? It's really not important. And mindset, for the same reason, is not that important, because you can have not a pessimistic mindset, because you probably wouldn't do enough, but you could have a neutral mindset and try things and tweak them and get them to work using a better business model, right? And that is more important than mindset. The business model is always going to trump the mindset, right? Now, Trump's mindset is a different question. We won't talk about his mindset, but mindset is always trumped by model, and your business model will always be better. And fundamentally, you need to know that in the same way it wasn't my fault that I wasn't educated in all of this stuff. I had to learn it and apply it and use it and tweak it and engineer it and change it as technology changed. We had to change our methodology, which is why we're so successful. It's not your fault if you didn't know it. You've been lied to, if you like. You've been told business is really easy. You can make loads of money on business. And if you ever watch things like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, you will come across hundreds and hundreds of business owners who just think everything's going to be wonderful, and they've got no idea they've got to apply this stuff and make it happen for it to be worth anything. And so it isn't your fault. The community we live in, the environment we live in, tell us everything's going to be easy. You just start up a business and you're going to earn loads of money. And it's not true. You need to understand the business. If you learn from someone, I learned how to run an accountancy business from the people I trained with as an accountant. And if I carried on applying those learnings from those days, I would be pretty useless, pretty average. I would be down in the bottom 60, 20%, I suspect, because life has changed so much. And, I had to learn so many new things to apply. So it's not your fault if you didn't know it. This is an opportunity to just begin to change your fortunes, okay? And the idea here is we're going to close the gap. We're going to learn what we need to do. We're going to adopt doing some things. We're going to test it, measure it, and then we're going to adapt it, apply it again, and get the results, and then keep adapting, keep reviewing and adapting and adopting, okay? And that's the process that the Profit Multiplier program goes. With the difference is that we have tried all of the things we talk about, we've tried ourselves and found they work. So a bit of a head start. You don't have to learn by your own mistakes. You can learn by my mistakes. And I won't show you anything that doesn't work that I've tried, because that would be pointless. Let's shortcut it to the things that do work. And so why is that important to you? Why would not learning from your own mistakes be important? Why would a better business model help you? Let me just pause for a drink of water while you just make some notes on why this is important to you. Somebody's typing in that somebody's typed in that their results haven't changed for 3 years. Yeah, I think I was saying that for many businesses I review, their their results are basically a photocopy of the year before, right? It is unfortunate, but this is all about doing something different to change those results. I'm not saying it's easy. It is simple, but it's not easy. We've got to, and having a leg up, having somebody to tell you this is the stuff that works, this is how you can focus on it, this is how you can keep it simple, because you're already overwhelmed with too many things to do. We haven't got 2 days a week to spend on this. We're going to be asking you to maybe on the multiplier program to carve out half a day here and half a day there, 2 hours here, 2 hours there, because that's all it needs to move projects forward, apply them, review them, adapt them, and adopt them again. So let's move on. So here's what we want to do, and you'll see in the book I have got a couple of sheets in, and these are my quick overview mixing boards. So what we want to do is, against each of those, I would like you to put an X on the line. So if the number of leads you get and the quality of leads you get is poor, put your cross in on the line closer to the poor. If it's what you think is average, it may or may not be average, but if you think it's average, put it in the middle. And if you think it's towards excellent or excellent, put it to the right-hand side. And for each of those, so you're going to be putting the cross. We're going to go quickly because we don't want to double guess this, and we don't want to be spending hours doing this. This is a quick lightning round, okay? So for leads, poor to excellent, put your cross in the box, and we're moving on quickly. Conversion, poor to excellent. What's your conversion rates? Are they good? Do you convert most of your clients? And that's not a good thing, by the way. Do you convert most of your leads, or do you convert too few? That's not a good thing either, often. Is your conversion strategies too poor? Are they excellent? Sandler from the Sandler Institute said, if you don't have a process for selling, you're at the mercy of the buyer's process for buying, and usually that's a really rubbish strategy that they've got. It's usually how much is it, and that's not a great strategy for buying. And if you don't have a better strategy, you're at that mercy. What's your strategy for pricing? Are you the same as everyone else, or do you price above the market? Do you get premium pricing? Do you package things? So is your pricing poor, average, or excellent? Now, you will appreciate that this is your judgment. It is not my judgment. When I see your numbers, often I will be able to give you my review of it, my view of whether your pricing is poor or excellent. For now, all I'm asking is for your judgment, but be aware you can only judge based on what you know. You can't judge based on what I and you know, okay? And that is where we talk about the Profit Multiplier program, is making sure that you have an external, completely non-emotional judging process where we say, look, we can do better on pricing. We've got to do better on pricing, okay? Sales growth, poor or excellent. I don't want to dwell too much on each of these, but sales growth, is your sales growth good or bad, or where is it on that continuum? And remember, it's a link, right? I had a client a couple of years ago who had posted a 30% increase in sales, but a 21% reduction in net profits. Now that is crazy. That means they're working harder for less, right? And that happens. That's not an unusual case, by the way. That's a reasonably common occurrence. And if you look at your numbers over the last 3 or 5 years, you may find that that's happened to you too. And in most cases, that's not a sensible way to go. Okay, so your gross margins, if you don't know what your gross margins are, that is probably one of the most fundamental numbers in your numbers that you really need to know and control. If you ever watch things like Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and stuff, you will know that one of the first things I ask is, what's your sales and what are your margins, what are your profits, right? If you don't know those things, you are really not controlling your business. And I'm afraid, I'm telling you as it is, I'm not trying to be nice to you right now. I'm just saying, if you don't know your numbers, how do you manage them? You can't manage something you don't know. You don't understand how it's made up. And all of these, by the way, come into our profit map. And we haven't got time to talk about that today. But when you understand your profit map and how these things fit in, you begin to go, right, I need to focus on that, because if I fix that, everything changes, right? And another day we'll talk about our profit map. Marketing, are you happy with your marketing? Does it position you well? Is it seamless? Is it easy? Does it just go out there automatically? Or do you have to work really hard? Is your marketing good or bad? This is just quick overviews, right? Marketing, mark yourself on that continuum. Fulfillment, how well do you satisfy your client's request? If they ask for a service, is it fulfilled seamlessly, or is it really a pain and you get loads of complaints and errors and team problems and all sorts of stuff? Where are you in the fulfillment? Do clients constantly ask for changes, and are those handled seamlessly? Do they pay for things correctly, or do you always feel that you're having to put your hand in your pocket to keep the client happy? Where is that in terms of fulfilling your potential? And of course, your overheads, are they controlled? Are you happy with your overheads, or are they really, really well controlled and really low? Technology and the world has changed. We're such a connected place. Overheads can be brought down significantly when you use automation, you use software. I'm coming up to 60 years old. Oh God, I feel weird saying that. But I'm coming to 60 years old, and I understand technology pretty well. And I use a load of gadgets and software and apps to make my life easier and quicker. It makes it really efficient. It makes me connected, and I give great client service because of it. And it brings my costs down. And cash flow, are you happy with your cash flow? Is it always a struggle to pay people, pay yourself? Do you pay yourself first? Goodness me, if you don't pay yourself first, maybe that's something you should change immediately. Paying yourself first is critical. But how is your cash flow? Are you happy? Is it poor or excellent? And you can see, you begin to see the crosses. And now what this is beginning to do is looking for areas to work on, to focus on. Everyone will have areas that are not excellent at, everyone, right? And they're not happy with it, can feel they can do better. The idea will be then to focus on one of them at a time. We do our 3x3x3, remember that, and burn that into your psyche. It's a 3x3x3 formula, which makes it so easy to make progress and profit growth. Now let's look at slightly different things. I want to look at your time. How do you feel your time is being used? Is it poor or excellent? Are you happy with your use of your time? Are you working too much or too little? If you're working too much, it's towards the poor left-hand side. If you're working short hours and you're really enjoying what you do and you've got plenty of time to do all the things you need to do, we have different roles, and we've got a boss, we've got a client support person, we may be a father, we may be a son, we may be a daughter, we may be a husband or a wife, we may be a partner, or whatever it is. Do you have enough time for those roles? Your income, is it poor to the left or really good to the right? Do you feel you're adequately remunerated? Your profits, are you happy with your profits? If you don't know what your profits are month on month, you cannot tell me you're happy or not, because you don't even know what they are. You're not controlling your business. Evidence, in fact, that you're not controlling your business. Every month you should know what your profits are, typically within 30 days, if not 14 days off the month end. What is your effective hourly rate? Now, this is such a brilliant measure, because it's one of the things on the Profit Multiplier program we will look at setting up. Because if you're working, 1,000 hours and you're earning £100,000, right? That gives you an effective hourly rate. If you're working 2,000 hours and you're earning £50,000, that gives you a really rubbishy hourly rate. And if you're working, 60, 80 hours a week and stuff, you'll be amazed at how much damage it does to your effective hourly rate. What are your debtors ratios? I'm not going to go into these too much, but if you don't know what your debtors ratio is, then you're not controlling your accounts. It's just evidence. These are just things that help me understand whether you're controlling your business or your business is controlling you. How well are you enjoying being in your business? Do you resent getting up on a Monday morning, or do you go, yes, another week to go and add value and take value from the market? Do you enjoy what you're doing, or are you now a bit resentful after a couple of years that the promise that you hoped to have from your business is not yet coming to rest with you? Are you happy with your client list or customer list? Do you get the right quality clients? Or are they all whingers? Do they all begrudge paying you what you deserve for the high quality of effort and integrity and value you provide them? I know when I set this up as one of my key measurements, my key performance and predictive indicators, within 3 years, my client list changed significantly. I mean, I could look at my clients and go, I love these clients. You know, they love me. I get one of my clients said to me yesterday on a call. He said, "Gordon, you know, you returned my call within a couple of hours, and I don't know how you do that because I recommend you and talk about you all over the place. I don't know how you've got the time to talk to me." And the idea, you know, it's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely sensation to have that appreciation from clients and with clients, because I give them the same amount of care and love back, if you like, because it is important to me that they do well, and I set the time and the quality aside to be able to do that. How well do you control your business, or does your business control you? If your business controls you, we're on the left. If you are controlling your business, it's way to the right. If you're having to just touch on it and go, oh, this bit needs focus, instead of team working. But like, you know, I would imagine Richard Branson does, you know, with his 300, 400 odd companies he runs, he probably couldn't run those 400 companies the way you run yours or I run mine, right? You know, my companies are reasonably hands-off, but you know, he's running 300 or 400. Goodness me, it blows my mind, right? We're not there yet, but you know, who knows, right? And your stress levels, are you happy with your stress levels, which means it goes to the right, or are you unhappy with your stress levels? Are you just too stressed out every day? You come back and just have no energy, no emotional energy left for the family, or for your partner, or for yourself. Where are you on that? And these crosses, as you plug them in here, will give you a sense of picking one or two on the 3x3x3 formula to grow your business. So why is that important to you? If you've done the exercise, I hope you have. Why is that important to you? Why is knowing these things important to you? Why is it putting focus on them important to you? Why is picking one or two to focus on, to change, to improve important to you? What could you benefit by? Somebody, I'm just picking out a comment here. Somebody says, being able to, too many of them are to the left. I need to pick one to work on. And that, I think, is exactly right. It doesn't surprise me that many of the people I speak to, the crosses are on the left. That is completely normal and expected. What also then happens typically is they'll go, oh, we need to go and start changing, and they'll fly from pillar to post trying to fix all of them and get nowhere. A year later, we'll be in the same place if we leave it to them devices. The Profit Multiplier program is all about making sure we pick 1, 2, or 3. The 3x3x3 is 3 projects a quarter, 1 project at a time, 3 tasks a week, and so we're doing 3 months, 3 projects, 3 a week. 3 tasks a week to move 1 project forward until it's done, and then we test it, measure it, adapt it, apply it, systemize it. It's a beautiful system that relieves the pressure of you've already got too much to do. This is not about giving you more to do, it's about giving you less to do and achieving more with less time. And so what we have here is our business growth roadmap. And we look at the symptoms and the success keys, right? Because we need to know the symptoms of being at a certain place and the keys to success of moving up the process. And so both of those are important. So let's get into that a little bit. Right at the bottom, let's bring you to the bottom. You can see that our process works with a 3-tier process we'll talk about in a second. It's called the Identify, Multiply, and Amplify program. So we first identify where you are, what your hidden assets are. These are things that are not on your balance sheet. I'm not talking about your house or your car. I'm talking about the goodwill you have, the client acquisition strategy, your pricing methodology, your premium pricing setup. All of those are assets that we need to explore and exploit, if not set up on. So so let's look at the startup. We'll look at the first bit of the startup. For a startup, or it could be a lifestyle business. Typically, they earn £30,000 to £50,000, and I would call them in the startup. Sometimes you may just get people who never go past £60,000, £60,000, right? And for them, you just got to accept that is just the norm. and they're happy being where they are. Typically under in the 20%, the people are struggling. They can't afford the quality of life they want. And sometimes if you take their effective hourly rate we talked about in a moment, they'd be earning much more if they work for someone else. It's quite a strange one. To go from startup to self-employed, you need to get business savvy. You need to understand and control your numbers. It's never about working harder, but it is about working smarter. So the key idea here is you set up a game plan and focus and execute it and create momentum. The whole purpose of what we do is we begin to grow and create momentum, and that builds its own. It's a bit like a snowball or an avalanche. As it starts, it goes really slowly, but by the time it gets to the bottom of a hill, it can be devastating in its power and impact. And in business growth, the more you do, the more you apply, the more you achieve, the more your mindset changes, your business models can change, your availability of cash flow to try new things and develop new ideas and people and stuff improves. And so your business can accelerate. Now, most of our programs don't aim at the startup under 30, 40,000 pounds because they typically don't have funds to invest in taking their business forward. And unfortunately, that means that they've got to be left to their own devices. Our blogs are free and they have a load of good information, a bit like this. This is a really cool piece of training, and it's free to people. And if you're in startup and you're doing this training and getting towards the self-employed 60, 90,000 pounds, then of course you're going to be maybe right for our program. But until that point, it gives you at least, we're not leaving you in the lurch. We're giving you some information to help you build your business. Then we get to self-employed. These are people who basically work to earn. So they exchange time for money. It can be a contractor. They could, we have IT contractors and engineers and stuff who go and work for other companies. They may earn, £500, £1,000 a day, £2,000 a day, depending on their skill levels. That to me is still self-employed. If you don't work, you don't get paid. That is a definition of self-employment to my mind. Whether you have a limited company and you're a director, you are self-employed, because if you don't work, nothing happens. Okay, and if you don't go to work, nothing happens. So you may earn sort of £90,000 and stuff. You may earn £200,000 as in some of the contractors, but you're basically self-employed, and we can't impact. If you are a contractor, we can't really impact you with the business growth roadmap. That doesn't help. We can help you if you are a proper business and can change that. If you are a contractor and you're expected to turn up on the client's doorstep and do 8 hours work, there's nothing we can do to affect that too much. So you may be running a business full time. Like I said, you may be a company director, and to go up the level, you've got to get your business model that's going to work. You've got to review your business model, begin systemizing and delegating. You've got to do less and think more. And of course, the constant thread in all of the things we do is you've got to control your numbers. I'm the numbers guy. Right? You've got to control our numbers. The numbers will tell you where to put your focus on, how well you're doing, and how well you're progressing. We then have to run a proper business. Now, a proper business is where you're earning £150,000 and you are now a proper director. You don't actually have, you have considerable potential for growing because you've got plenty of time, because you've got running a proper business. You've got a team delegated and doing the work of the business, so it's automated. And you've got time and spare cash to invest in new things, new ideas, new training. You help get the best people around you to help you grow your business. We look at businesses squirreling away 20%. If you're just a normal business earning good money, squirrel away 20% to invest. Business, though, will usually give the highest returns. You can invest it in a bank account. You'll get sort of less than 0.5% or something pathetic like that. You could invest it in the stock market, take a bit of a risk. You may earn between -10 and +10%, maybe +20%, depending on the market and stuff. But it's a bit of a high risk, and you've got no control over that. You could invest in property. That's usually a good bet. But, it's a bit sticky. You can't convert it into cash straight away. So you've got to mix these investments. We look at helping clients mix their investments. We don't give investment advice. We help just them understand the benefit of mixing their assets for value and security, of course. And then we go to investing. Now, this is a person who's got multiple assets, right? So, for example, I've got assets in shares, property, businesses. So I got multiple sources of income. If one slows down, well, maybe the other one doesn't, and so on. And so I'm protected. I can do nothing and my income will just flow in if I did nothing. And this is where you get surplus cash provided by the business each month, provided by your assets each month, with new opportunities coming up all the time for expanding, franchising maybe, or acquiring new assets. You can create momentum towards going towards the top level, which I've called choices, and I'll tell you why in a second. You have to systemize and leverage and review your business, really understand the numbers, manage the numbers, right? And you're going to be exploiting and exploring new opportunities all the time. And you're going to be in a position where you can now enjoy the journey. You're going to be doing things you really enjoy. And finally, you've got the payoff, right? This is where you have choices. Typically, only 1% of the population get to this level because they have the right strategies, the right business models, the right actions on time now and regularly will devote. And what this does is it delivers complete freedom of money and time, okay? That is what I was telling you I had, right? I do not need to do any, I can do absolutely nothing, and I will get sufficient income to maintain my lifestyle. Now, to be fair, I don't lead what some people would call a millionaire lifestyle, because I don't want a massive 46-bedroom mansion. I don't want a £250,000 Ferrari. Probably wouldn't get down into it. I don't want fast cars or big cars. It does, hardly. I don't enjoy driving that much, and for what I drive, my car's just fine. It doesn't cost £250,000. But I do enjoy traveling. I do enjoy my holidays, and I do enjoy going around the world. And it does take time, and it does take money, and I have that complete choice to do that. We'll live in this nice, lovely bungalow on the edge of some small farm holes. I'm looking over now. I can see some fields. I'm kind of surrounded by greenery and stuff. It's absolutely beautiful, and it does, for me, it's what I want. Success to everyone is what they want, right? I don't care what it is for you, as long as you know what it is and look to build it. That's the key thing. So that's, you'll do what you love. You'll continue to build, and you'll have freedom of time to do the things you want to do. If you want to give money to charity, you can. I was listening to something about Bill Gates, and he's one of the most philanthropic people in the world. He's given millions, and he's actually set probably a reasonable target for him to eliminate malaria from the planet. Maybe even eliminate polio. That's even closer. So I think he's moved his focus to that, to try to eliminate polio forever, and then continue with eliminating malaria. He couldn't have done that if he ran an average business that went nowhere. If he was in the bottom 20 or 80% of the thing, as we're talking about on this roadmap, you can see he wouldn't go very far. So there is a roadmap. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And it's sat nav, easy to get up there, right? In our process, we have an identify, a multiply, and amplify process I talked to you about a moment ago. It's all about understanding where we go from struggle to getting by to being comfortable, and too many people will even stop at comfortable because they're going, well, I'm earning enough to have a comfortable lifestyle. There's a load of people in that. Not as many as they're getting by, and they're struggling, of course, but they're comfortable. They can afford their 2 weeks or 3 weeks holiday or a year. They can afford nice presents for their family. They can afford a nice house and a nice car and stuff. But, if something happens, they may not be able to continue because their income would dry up because they haven't quite got to that level where the income coming in automatically completely provides for their lifestyle. So the momentum is to get up that pyramid, up to those choices where you have everything you need. And because we use like a sat-nav process, we know, where are you now? We need to take a left turn, we need to take a right turn, or we can move it. So the idea is, do you want to take the easy way or the hard way? The hard way would be, let's do it by trial and error. Let's see what works and have a go at certain things and see what happens. Or you could take the easy way, which is somebody who's been there before, got the arrows in their back, they've run it themselves. They're not learning it from a book like many franchisees do. They've actually run the business. They understand the trials and tribulations of running a business and have found what works and can help you understand your numbers, bring your focus in and help you understand how your marketing can be changed, how your pricing can be changed, how your profits can change, and how your life can change. It is part of a system, right? We call it the Profit Multiplier Program. It's set as a series of steps. that take you through from where you want to go to where you want to be. And you can go there slow or fast. You know, if you're really busy at the moment, we would only do, we'd do one project a month, three tasks, and you just have small tasks, but always moving forward. Or you could be stuck. You could just do the same thing as you did last year and achieve the same results. I don't know. What is it that you aspire to? And if you aspire to just having a go and seeing what happens, then I suspect old habits don't die at all. So we want it to be step-by-step simple. We want to hold your hand through the process and make sure you do the 1 or 2 or 3 things a week. Kill those projects one at a time to take your business forward, earn and move towards doubling your profits in rapid time, and build that momentum towards getting to choices we talked about. So we're going to go from where you are now to where your target is. That's a process, and we're going to do it systematically. That's critical to what we want to do for you. So why is that important to you? Let's spend a couple of minutes on that before we close off with Q&A. Oh, that water's nice. Okay. Have a chance to write some notes down. Why is it important to get there, to reach your targets, to change what you're doing now, to not settle for where you've been? Okay, let's move on. So I'd like to leave you with a question here. How well did you control your business? Did you run it by the seat of your pants, doing the best you can? Would you now agree with me that that's probably not the best way of achieving the greatest momentum in your business? If it works for you and you love it, please carry on, enjoy yourself. But if it's not working for you and you want to do better and more, and by understanding that you're putting your focus in the right place, then maybe we should change how we do it. Do you measure where you are at any point in time? See what's working, see what's not. Stop doing what's not, change what's not. Do more of what is. Or do you just seat of your pants, right? And do you evaluate that? Do you sit down quietly in a place where we have these 15-minute board meetings where we just go, right, let's bring the numbers out, let's have a look, let's interrogate them for 15 minutes hard. We're not going to be taking phone calls and being distracted by Facebook and people coming in and TV and stuff. We're going to be spending 100% of the time. Now, typically when I do these sessions with clients, we ask the client to lock away 1 hour. We spend 10 or 15 minutes on the phone, bringing their attention and challenging them on these things, evaluating where they've been and what they've done and what they should be doing. And then they spend the next 45 minutes implementing the stuff we've talked about and getting moving on it, because normally they'd set a meeting for an hour anyway. I just work too quickly to be spending an hour talking, because there is just too much work to be done. We just get small bits done. I'm not here to overwhelm you. I'm here to make sure we get things done that make a difference. And if I overwhelm you, we've achieved nothing. You're back where you are now. So what's the point? So how well did you control your business? If it was not very well, is it something you want to do? Or are you happy just carrying on and just doing the best you can and muddling through and see what happens? Why is controlling your business important to you? Okay. I'll give you a couple of seconds to make a note. You can pause this, by the way. If you're watching the recording, you can pause it any time, couldn't you? And now we're looking at the game plan for the coming year. And so this is an offer I'm going to make to you, because setting the game plan for where you're going to be in the next year is critically important. Because if you don't have a game plan that is different to what you've had in the past, then you're going to repeat what you've always done and get this a photocopy of the results. The game plan will give you absolute clarity about where you want to go and what you need to do. We use what we call our business plan on a page. Most of our tools, surprisingly not, come on a page, because as business owners, I know I am too busy to read a 50-page business plan, but if I have a laminated sheet of my business plan for the 3 months coming on my desk, which I can even use as a mouse mat or as a little poster on the wall or whatever it is, mine happens to be a little sticker on the wall. It's there in front of me. I can use it all the time. Why wouldn't I, right? And so we build on that. We also look at starting off on a business model, because, like I said, model trumps mindset. it's not about positive thinking and all that sort of high flown stuff. I'm grounded in action, and the business model is beautifully focused on what we can do differently. What's the model look like now? What do we need to change? Because if you don't change anything, you'll just repeat what you've been doing, and it's probably not on purpose because you just followed somebody else's model where you've learned from someone else. That is not a recipe for achieving massive success unless they were super successful and you're following their model and getting super success as well. And if you're here, chances are that's not what you've done. And of course, we've got to then execute. It's all about the execution and evaluation and adoption. We want to make sure we execute these things. And we'll talk more about how we do that if we get a chance to meet. So what could be the next steps for you? Remember, I did say, if you wished, I would offer you how or where to get some help. And what we're doing is we're offering today, for a limited time, on a first come, first serve, we're offering 20 game plan strategy sessions. Now, a game plan strategy session is a one-to-one call with me. It's typically between 1 and 2 hours. Remember, I do work really fast, and the idea is not to break your whole business down and give you 4,000 things to do. It's about getting to the essence fast, right? Understanding your numbers fast, which is what I do. It's my skill. And agreeing with you 1, 2, or 3 projects that you could take on in the next 30 to 90 days, 3 by 3 by 3, right? Preferably 3 projects, 3 projects, 3 months, 3 tasks a week to clear 1 project at a time. It's all about getting you that clarity to make a difference to your business. If I give you 1,000 things because I spend a day with you, you're going to go, well, I'm no further forward. I've got 1,000 great ideas. I love it. And tomorrow morning the phone rings, you get onto your normal daily routine. 1,000 things get onto a back burner somewhere, never to be seen again. If you've got 3 things to do that week, and somebody then calls you up and says, how are you getting on with those 3 things? One of them may take 20 minutes, one of them may take 40 minutes, and one of them may take 2 hours. How you're getting on, that you and I will be on a call again if we're on the Profit Multiplier program to discuss your results. Now, if you haven't done them, you're not the sort of person who's going to agree to do something with me and then not do it. That's not who you are. That's not why you turned up on this call. You are a person who keeps your word. And if the easiest time we have to break our word is the promises we make to ourselves. You know that to be true, and I know that to be true. Certainly for me, the person who is rare indeed, who makes a promise and always keeps it to themselves. If something happens and somebody else calls on them, they will break a promise to themselves to help someone else. But this is a promise you'll be making to me for yourself, and I'm going to hold you to that promise for yourself, and we're going to get it done. We're going to move your business forward to double your profits. That is the goal here. And we're going to do it in less time. We're going to create the momentum that's going to take you up from self-employed to choices. That is the route that's the way we're going to go. How we get there is different from most businesses, and we would need to have a discussion on that. So, and that is why we have our strategy session, is to work out what it is for you. What is it you want? Everyone is different, right? And so we work out what you've got and what you've got to work with and where you want to go, and then we begin to plot a route to get there as quickly as possible and as easily as possible, creating a better quality of life in the process. You're not working over hard, getting super stressed and so on. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. And it is for you if you've been in business for over 2 years. We're not really looking at startups. Startups typically believe they know all the answers and they have all the solutions. It's going to be easy and they can make millions. A bit like, I don't know if you ever watch Only Fools and Horses. If you're in the UK, I don't know if it's reached around the world, but it is an amazing program of this guy who always, for years and years and years as this program developed, he was, this time next week, Rodney, he would say to his brother, we're going to be millionaires. And I think it's like sort of 20 years later, they found in an old garage something that was worth so much money, they actually became a millionaire. But they went through a whole load of just trial and error and got nowhere for absolutely years. So if you've been in business for 2 years, or you realize you need help and you want to get there with a minimum of fuss, with a minimum of mistakes, you don't want to learn it on yourself, then this may be for you. You must be ambitious for your business. If you're not ambitious for your business, then you're just going to go, well, I don't mind if I do, I don't mind if I don't. I'm not going to get the results for you, so you might as well not do that. It is for you if you realize that you do need to do things differently. If you do things the same way, you're going to get a photocopy of the results. You need to want to earn more. You need to want to spend less time at work. I don't want people who want to go, I want to work 90 hours or 120 hours a week. I want somebody who goes, look, I'm working hard enough. I just want to earn more money for the effort I'm putting in. I want people who want to enjoy work, enjoy the idea that they own a business and have to go to the business whenever they choose and love their business. And I want somebody who's willing to be held accountable, because you and I are going to identify, if you've only got half an hour a week, we'll only identify tasks that take half an hour a week that get you done. But as we go on, we will be creating more and more time so that the half hour will become an hour, will become 2 hours, will become half a day, will become a day a week over time. But it can't be done instantly. I understand that. I'm in business. I've been where you are, and I've done this for myself. It is not for you if you are new to business. We've talked about that. If you believe you've tried everything and nothing will work, of course, if you believe that, it won't work. As I said to you, it could be something in the mix of what you tried that hasn't worked, and it could just 1 to 2 tweaks change your results. If you believe nothing we recommend will work, then of course it's not going to work. I know it works because I do it in my own business and with clients. If you believe it's not going to work, then don't book this on. If you believe you cannot be helped because you've tried everything yourself and there's no one that can help you, you're a hopeless case, or your business is a hopeless case, remember this. In every business, in every market, in every industry, there are a few businesses, typically the 15, 4, and 1% on our pyramid, who outperform the rest of the market. In every industry, in every market. So please don't tell me it can't be done in your industry, because somebody out there is proving that it can. Okay, so if you believe it can't, then obviously I'm not going to fight you for that. I'm not here to try to convince you one-on-one, arm wrestle you to the idea that we can help you. No, if you don't believe it can be helped, please enjoy yourself, go your own way, and Godspeed. If you do not work ethically, I'm not interested in working with people who want to exploit clients and stuff. I'm looking for people who want to add value, and do a good day's work through their business, offer great value stuff, and we'll go far together. If you don't want to deliver a great service or product, we're not for you. We want people who really aspire to deliver great service and great product. And if you're not willing to be held accountable to doing things, then this is not going to work for you. Pointless wasting yours and my time. I haven't got the time to waste with people like that, and I'm sure you don't either. So you might as well do what you're doing anyway. So we're offering this to you. Well, at the end of that strategy session, you will know exactly where you want to go. Your challenges in getting there, we'll make sure we identify them and know how to overcome them. We're going to identify 1, 2, or 3 projects to work on. We're going to give you clarity on the quickest way to get there. And of course, if you need further help on an ongoing program basis, we'll talk to you about how to do that, but only if you ask. Our strategy session is very powerful, and we have some significant guarantees with it. The main guarantees that you have, it's called a happiness guarantee. If within 30 days of running the strategy session and you're applying the things we agreed to do in that first 30 days, you don't believe it was worth every penny of the fee you paid, then you can have a rebate of up to everything. Okay, absolutely. No questions asked. I'm not here I haven't got time to question you on it. You may want to offer me why it didn't work for you, and I'm happy with that. But as long as you can show me you did some of the things you said you were going to do, and they didn't work, and they gave you no idea that they were going to work, which doesn't happen, that's why we offer the guarantee, then by all means, that's your safeguard. So it can cost you nothing to try it other than the hour or 2 on the strategy session. And because you've been on the call, because you've requested this recording, for the next 10 days, I'm offering the first 20 people alone a 50% discount. Now, if you're not in the first 20, you will be required to pay the full, but the guarantee still holds, okay? So, but if you're in the first 20 who respond to this offer, then I'm more than happy to give you a 50% discount, because I'm looking for more testimonials. I'm looking for people who can work with me on the longer term. And out of the 20 people who come on the strategy session and get benefit anyway, I know from evidence 4 to 8 of them will want me to work with them on an ongoing basis to help them grow their business on a year-by-year basis. So that's why I do it that's why I'm offering a 50% discount for the first 20. I want quick, the first 20, why do I do it for the first 20? Is because quick decision makers are people I'm looking for. If people are going to and ah and take 3 months to think about it, business does not offer us the benefit, the luxury of waiting 3 months to respond, to act, to do something. Business today is too fast moving. It's too critical. It's too, if you think about Uber for a second. 2-3 years ago, Uber was nowhere, and now it's one of the biggest taxi companies in the world, if not the biggest taxi company in the world, disrupting the whole taxi market. If you think of Airbnb has more rooms on offer than any hotel chain in the world, yet it has no hotels. It doesn't have all the overhead of owning hotels and maintenance and rates and stuff. Think about the business is in disruption mode right now. It's moving too quickly. You do not have the luxury of waiting 3 months, 6 months, 2 years for something to change in your business. If it's going to change against you, it's going to change fast, and you may not even see it coming. It's a bit like the frog that if you put it in warm water or cold water and bring it to the boil, apparently it sort of happily stays there. Horrible experiment. But if you drop it in boiling water, apparently it jumps straight out because it's just shocked. We don't want to be this slow eroding of our business and our positive mentality and stuff. We want to get out there and make changes and offer our service to a bigger market, to a bigger population. And you can tell. I don't apologize for talking quickly. You can listen slowly. You can slow the video down. You can stop and take stock of what I said. You can replay it. All that sort of stuff is fine. But remember this, that I love what I do. I don't do it because I have to pay my mortgage next month, or I have to pay my kids' school fees next month. I do it because I love it. I could do it or not do it. It makes no difference to me. I see too many people working too hard for not enough money to just sit there and do nothing. I have to do something. And my idea of what I want to do is offer the Profit Multiplier program for people who want to do that. And I can only do that if we start off somewhere to find out if we can work together. The strategy session does exactly that. By the way, it may be that the strategy session doesn't go ahead and I refund all your money within 10 minutes of our call. The reason is within the first 10 minutes, we do a quick exchange of ideas, of views, and a quick review of where we are. If in that 10 minutes you find that you're not going to be able to work with me because I'm just too demanding and too challenging, I talk as I see it, I'm not nice to you, then you can just go, look, this is not going to go ahead, Gordon. Can I just have my money back and I'm off? Absolutely, with pleasure, 100%. Thank you very much. I'm not looking for businesses who don't love what we do and how we do it and why we do it. I'm looking for businesses who are really ambitious, who love the idea of taking control of their business and moving forward. Similarly, on the other hand, there are times when I will meet a business owner and I get the sensation that they really are in the comfortable position and doing and taking some of the challenges that I bring to them and making some of the changes with their team or with their methodology or with their processes, or of course with the business model, which is the best way of changing their business, is they're reticent and they can't convince me otherwise. Then I just say, look, I don't want to battle with you on these things. Life is too short. Please, take the ideas that we've had from the presentation and go your own way and enjoy and make it happen for yourself. And that to me is completely fair. So always with that guarantee. Remember, I told you about the guarantee. If within 30 days of being on the program with me or the session with me, you apply the things we talk about, the project, we look on 1, 2, or 3 projects, remember, for the next 30 days to 3 months. if the 3x3x3, if you do some of the things within 30 days and you can't see that, oh yeah, that's working, oh that really helped, oh I can see the clarity from that, oh yeah, I can see where this is going, then please ask for your money back. Okay. And it'll be yours with pleasure. Not interested in earning money from people who are not happy with what they get. So you can't get fairer than that. That is my rock solid guarantee. It is up to you to do something with it. It's up to you to say it doesn't work. And if it's your judgment that it's not going to work, why would I want to get paid? Goodness me, I don't need your money. And you don't need any involvement with me. Absolutely fine. So thank you very much for listening. Let me just see if there are any questions on here. How do we get to book a game? You spotted the weakness in my plan. I've got to tell you how to book. Thank you. You can see I was getting a bit carried away there. To do that, just email info@successstorybuilder.com. Or you should find a button below this presentation, below this recording, which says book your strategy session. If it has a 50% discount, we may be running another promotion and you may be available, and you'll see when you get to that whether it's available or not. If it isn't, then like I said, I'll still guarantee the value 100% because I know it's worth every penny of that plus many pennies more. So it's there for you. We will be going through our 3x3x3 formula with you, and I'd like to thank you for being part of this presentation. It's made it fun for me. It's interesting and enjoyable for me to give you this information and help you just see there is potential within your business. You work so hard for your business, it's time your business worked hard for you. So thank you very much for that. And I look forward to speaking to you if we get a chance when we meet on some of the presentations I make on courses, and if not, so maybe on the strategy call, or if not, maybe we'll bump into each other. It's a small world. Let's see what happens. Right? You take care of yourself, and let me see if there are any other questions. What is the quickest way to doubling profits? Well, that is a biggie. I probably won't be able to answer that in 2 minutes. However, let me say this. One of the fastest ways of increasing profits, and this is, I hesitate to give you this because what happens is if you're not of the right mindset, if you haven't been part of a program, if you don't understand the psychology of what I'm talking about, and if you don't understand the principles that's been proven out there time and time again by many companies, thousands of companies, very successful companies, then you're going to poo-poo this idea and go, oh yeah, that won't work for me, right? And that is the killer of all ideas. If we are having our session and you come up with that phrase, this won't work for me, then I know I've got a problem, right? Because unless you've done exactly how we introduce it and do it right, you can't tell me it doesn't work, it won't work for you, because you just can't, because you haven't followed the process. So given that, buckle up, because it's not a long sentence I'm going to say, but it is a bit of a big one. And the fastest way of increasing profits, and you can do that today, is to increase prices. Change nothing else, just increase your prices. Now you can increase your prices by 1 or 2 or 3%. Now in most courses I offer, when I present, I ask the audience to put up their hand if they could increase their prices by 1% without a dramatic impact on their client numbers, customer numbers, and virtually everyone puts up their hand. I asked them if they could do it for 2%, 3%, and we build up to sometimes at about 5%, because it's like a number that people sort of have in their head. The hands will stay up, and then at 5% they'll start dropping off, and we get a 10% that drop off even further, 20% that drop off even further. So my idea is this: if you can introduce a price rise of 1, 2, or 3, or 4% without significant impact on your client numbers, and you do that today, how much more will you earn tomorrow? Will it be enough to cover your investment in the strategy session, for example. I don't know, I would have thought so, I would hope so. But if you don't take action, if you just go, oh, God, yeah, no, that old chestnut, yeah, no, that won't work for me. I thought about it, but no, it wouldn't work for me. Oh, my clients are different. My customers are different. Oh, my market is different. Oh, no, my industry is different. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't. Oh, I couldn't. Oh, no, my clients would all leave. If that is your response, then unfortunately, that is exactly why you want to be considering something different, like the strategy session, the profit multiplier program, because it is possible. And I said, in every industry, in every market, there are companies that outperform everyone else. Yeah, I was talking to a plumber about 9 months, a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And we in our strategy session, we brought up this idea of increasing pricing. And he says, oh, that won't work for me. Oh, that will. And I said, well, look, there is a millionaire plumber I saw on telly who has done exactly that. And he went, who's that? He goes, I said, the guy who runs Pimlico Plumbers. Now, there's this big plumbing outfit in the UK that's expanded. And, the owner is just, mega wealthy and very, very successful. And he's done that. Now, so you can't tell me, even a plumber, right, can't tell me that they can't. So it is possible. It's just a question of how and what you need to do to earn bigger numbers. Now, 3 or 4% is reasonably no-brainers, right? But when you start getting to 5 and 10 and 20%, I agree. Please don't do that. But, oh, yes, that was it. Warning. Please don't just go and increase your prices if you're offering a rubbish service, because you will lose every client you've got. You've got to have a decent amount of goodwill in the bank with your customers and clients. Secondly, don't go and put your prices up by 10 and 20 and 30% without a whole process, right? Because clients don't understand it. They don't go, well, today you're offering me this for this amount and tomorrow you're offering me this for 30% more. That's barkers. I am not having that. There's got to be some differentiation and changes, and that's what the Profit Multiplier Program is all about. So please, health warning, do not increase your prices by more than 1, 2, or 3%. If you want to increase it by 1 or 2 or 3%, please do so. But remember, if you're doing that, I'm sort of using up all my Q&A time on this one thing, but it is important. If you are doing that, you're going to be burning the goodwill you could have with the Profit Multiplier Program, because you can't then go, right, last week I increased my prices by 2%. Now I'm going to increase my prices by 20%. People are going to go, well, hang on, this guy's getting in the habit of increasing his prices every couple of weeks. Let me go and find someone else. So if you're thinking of looking at the strategy session or the Profit Multiplier Program, hold your horses. But if you understand that you could do it, now is the time to hold your horses and book on a strategy session with us, because that will, we'll build on that. And then when we go to your market with a different price to increase your profits significantly quickly, we call it sort of the low-hanging fruit process, then of course you'll benefit from that. All right, look, I've used up all my Q&A time with that. I hope you got some value from that answer. It is a biggie. And it is a hugely powerful one, so hopefully that helped everyone out there. In the meantime, the email address or again, below this video, you will see a button to press to book your session on. If you can't book your session on that button, then please just email us and we'll email you back with some choices of dates to book in and the process, and then we can book you in. And we'll probably have a 10-minute call before that, just to make sure we don't take any money without first checking you out to make sure you're the right type of client for us and we're the right type of organization, mentors, consultants, and coaches for you. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for listening to me and the speed. But you can tell I love what I do. There's lots of potential in your business. I know it. There is in virtually every business, and I'd love to help you explore it and exploit it for your benefit. I look forward to speaking to you soon. You take care of yourself. Goodbye.